All right. Hello. We're live.
Well, we was a little early. Hey.
Are we live now?
We're
live.
official.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in for another episode of 30 something podcast. Of course, I'm your girl Treya.
I'm Marie. Wait, I might not be making it too much longer.
I guess I did, Marie. I'm not sure.
Can you introduce me next time?
Hey Stanton. Hey Bueller. Hey Antoine. Hey Dominique. Hey everybody that's tuning in. Miko, our engineer.
I'm here. I'm the ones and twos.
And Miss Lisa, she is not with us. She's working out of town. So I'm sure she'll be tuning in later. So today, what we're going to be discussing a little bit later is the Amber Guyger trial, which, of course, like social media, especially locally here in Dallas, has been like on fire. You know, I've been watching personally, like as soon as opening statements,
Play by play.
I got
play by play.
I'm like, I'm gonna get fired because I ain't been doing no work. Like I've literally been watching the trial and just how it's been unfolding. But we'll get into that a little bit later. First, can we just discuss how it is September 24th? 24th? September 24th, and it is 100 degrees outside.
It was cooler today. Like it was breeze.
For a second.
Like it was great. It was almost like I felt like I lived. And then I looked. I'm like, what is the temperature? It was 97.
Right.
I'm like, well, this is nice cool down. We got a cold front.
Hey, about to go swimming in like it's the end of September. Like, what is going on? Like, what in the hell? Like, literally, what in the hell is going on? It's I don't know what we're gonna do. I feel like it's still gonna be hot on Christmas
We're gonna be able to
Day.
bring out our winter clothes.
Listen. You know we ain't got no coats in Dallas. First of all, niggas be walking around like it'll hit 20, and we still walk around with hoodies on.
Exactly.
Because ain't nobody got no real legitimate
a nice
coat.
little sweater coat or something.
Right, you got that one little coat that you've been having, that 3/4 leather that's been in your back, in the back of your closet since like middle school. You remember the 3/4 leathers with the hood on it? Everybody.
I got a wool peacoat, and I always came up like, it's cold,
right?
Like,
and you
get
from
to
Chicago.
I finally get to wear it. Like, yeah.
Do you have a lot of coats?
I have
being
cute
from
coats,
Chicago,
but no. Like, I've been here 15 years now. So
okay.
I'm like, no, it's they're all for looks. Like, really can't wait to go somewhere to wear this winter coat.
Listen, like seriously. I remember when we went to New York in February, and I was like, I get to wear a fur. And like that was it. That joint been in the closet ever since. It ain't gonna make it out. But Texas and the rest of the world, we need it to cool down. I mean, just a little bit, just to justify the pumpkin pie spice shit that's on the menu. It's too hot for that. I don't understand. It was swimsuit weather. We still got on tank tops and shit.
I know.
Taylor said it's a hot girl summer.
It's still
it's
a hot
like,
girl
first
summer.
I thought it was a nerd girl fall. I'm like, what is going on?
But on that was a lighter note. But so first we want to talk about Mr. Andre Emmett, Dallas legend, who passed away, who died from gun violence. Actually, what was that? Monday morning, late Sunday night. He was sitting out in front of his home. And two guys approached him and pointed a gun at him. Some kind of altercation ensued. He took off running and he was shot.
I don't know what camera.
He was shot while running away, and he was pronounced dead. I don't know if anybody knows Andre. Most of all of Dallas, especially Black Dallas, knows Andre Emmett. He graduated class of 2000, Cowboy basketball player. He went on to Texas Tech and played basketball, and then and he was drafted by the NBA. He had played for the Nets,
the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies and the Nets.
I think he had a short stint with the Bulls too, because he was number 15 on the Bulls.
Okay, Miko said he played for the Bulls too.
And he went overseas.
And he went overseas and played ball, and he went on to play for the Big Three. And he was like just a hometown hero. Like everybody has that, you know that person who made it, and Andre was that person who made it, and he came back home. And a lot of people are saying, and this it struck up a lot of conversation I saw online. People talking about how when you make it, people wonder why you don't come back to where you're from when you make it, because you're more likely to be killed, where you are. And Andre, he was in the middle of like doing some really wonderful stuff. He just started his foundation back in May. And last month in August, his foundation gave away a bunch of toiletries and like battery powered fans to the homeless. He did a basketball camp for the kids. The last day he gave away free school supplies and sneakers. And you have somebody who's out there doing really wonderful things in the community, and for his light to be snuffed out like that was really tragic. And so it hit home for us here in Dallas, and we just want to send our condolences to him and the family and his two little lovely girls that he has, that he loves so very much. Which I think Miko's showing some pictures right now.
Him at Texas Tech. They retired his jersey.
They retired his jersey at Texas Tech.
And he's part of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. That's correct. And from all the posts that I see, like everybody loved this dude. Everybody had like nothing but good things to say. Like he was always smiling, always cracking jokes, and
your kids went to his camp.
Yeah. And he was just, really somebody that the kids admired and that everybody loved. And it's just super unfortunate for his life to be taken so senselessly. And I'm not sure. I've been seeing things on social media talking about, I'm not sure if they caught the person or persons who were involved. Seems like one guy was a lookout. They said that it was a white Chrysler 300 that drove away. There's a video that the news has of his Nest camera that shows the incident and how it went down, and it was really tough for me to watch it, and I did not want to show that video on the show, just to be respectful, and we just want to remember him how he was.
They are saying that they think that it may be somebody that played.
Yeah, they were saying that it might be somebody who played in the Big Three with him as well.
So it definitely wasn't like just
that it wasn't just a random. Yeah, and he just got home. They said that he just got home from going out that night. So we really don't know what happened, but I know, of course, that the truth will surface. We don't know if it was somebody who followed him from where he was. Like, I just really hate this for our city, because we talk about all the time how we don't like to see each other do well, and this is just another incident of that ringing true. And I really hate that, because we don't have to be that way. Like, Dallas is home to a lot of wonderful talent and a lot of ambition and a lot of people who are doing like wonderful things. And you ought to be able to let your light shine bright. You ought to be able to,
come home, do things.
Yeah, to be confident. They are, like, seriously.
And wanted us to mention that the name of his foundation was Dreams Really Do Exist. That was the name of the.
I think it's sad, but I do think that that's not like exclusive to Dallas. I feel like even if you look historically, people always leave where they came from to do something great. One, because certain people won't let you do that there.
Right.
Then going back to
people talked about Lil Wayne when he left and went to Miami. He was like, I'm not staying.
Yeah. Then you go back to people will hate you for how much other people love you. I've seen bitter people eat them up, and they so like, why like it just
get
really
so much attention.
And it's just like, why are you that concerned with the love that someone else is getting?
It's so much envy
with Dre,
right?
Especially with him being right here in his city where everybody knew him.
He grew up here. Like,
it didn't matter where he went.
People saw him and they knew him. People showed him love wherever he went.
And then if there's other people who are in town from other cities that aren't getting that same attention in the city where they're playing at or where they live at now, then, you know, jealousy can kind of brew because they're used to being the spotlight, especially when they're at home. I know some football players that went to other cities and they, you know, they didn't appreciate or they didn't like.
Like you on our set and you getting all that love. This is
right. I know, it's just super unfortunate. It's I just really hate that. I hate that for the city. I hate that for the kids that looked up to him, you know, because it's, you don't want them to like be fearful of being successful and, you know, feel like they have to, because he loved his children, he loved his mama, you know, and nobody's perfect, of course, but you can get pretty goddamn close. Right. And so it was very senseless, and I really hate that.
Your cars, in your driveways, at night.
I mean, I feel like if you can't escape fate, like you really can't. Like you can try to be as mindful, and because there's always a reason, and we'll understand the reason later. Like you'll understand the why.
In hindsight,
right. The why always comes later.
I still think that's a needed precaution because he had a garage. And I mean, I hate to talk about like what you could have did after the fact,
right?
But in retrospect, thinking about what happened with him, I would just say anybody that's going home. I know sometimes we sit in the car and we finish up, you know, our night, or we chill in a minute for a car.
We definitely there's plenty of times you pull into the house and sat there.
By this incident, you putting yourself at risk. So I would just say, go.
But I just.
In your garage or go in your house.
I don't know. It's the last thing I'm gonna do is be fearful. Like I understand that you can be like more aware, right? But if you've gone out, you done had some drinks, you know what I'm saying? You had a good time. You just trying to gather yourself to get out of the car. Like we don't know how long he had been sitting in the car. He might have been like on the phone finishing up a phone call or something. But people will make a way, you know.
Going back to like you said, it wasn't random.
So they do something bad enough, they gonna do it.
Yeah, it wasn't random either. So as you said, I'm checking his footwork. I'm watching where he's going. Just so happened that this one moment they caught him slipping. He was in a vulnerable situation, and so it could have happened anywhere. I'm assuming they chose where they did for a reason, but too, it wasn't near his home. It was at his home.
You was at home. Like you, if you
so they was already.
You don't deserve ever to be murdered at your own home. You don't deserve for somebody to run up on you in your own home. And I mean, that's even more. You know, if they were as brazen to do that, they could have kicked his door in and done it all the same. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't feel like there's any way that you can try to get in front of certain situations when it comes to the element of surprise.
But then I do think it speaks to why people, when they reach a certain level, they're not as accessible. And you know, as much as like you'll see some people like, why they always got a bodyguard or somebody with them. And this is like a prime example of the need, though, the necessity of that.
He was home and he felt like everybody loved him, right, in the city.
And they did, everybody did, but all it takes is one. It only takes one. Or two in this case. But and my issue with situations like this is you take somebody's life, but you don't even value your own life. Like you've essentially thrown away your whole life. So either you're gonna be on the run, like you're not gonna get away with it. They're going to catch you. Like it's not like this is something that wasn't high profile in the city. Like, you're not going to get away with it. So, do you feel like it was worth it? Like, did it give you some sense of satisfaction to do that, to ruin?
I guess that's the same thing with, like, Nip.
Right.
The dude that shot him. Like, what was the point? Now you in jail forever.
Right.
Like, what
and
what
so
did you
many
gain
families have been disrupted. He has 2 babies who now don't have a father.
Right.
You know, and you don't even think enough of yourself to be like, you know what, I'm not going to be out here taking penitentiary chances.
And niggas so emotional. I feel like this was some emotional, like his feelings was hurt, or he was jealous, or if it was something like that made him. Because if he played basketball too, I don't see it being a money per se. You know, you weren't really hurting for money. Maybe you wanted more money, but you weren't really hurting for money.
Right.
I feel like it was more on a personal type of.
Did they say was he robbed?
There is like a and there's so much that goes on that you see online, and I try not to be like super presumptuous or try to accept things that I see online because we've shot ourselves in the foot before, jumping the gun, exactly, jumping the gun and saying that it was XYZ person, and it may or may not have been a person, but I hope that they catch whoever the hell did it, and that justice is served, and there's no replacing him. It's just really, really sad, and everybody keeps saying like it's the people who are out here doing wonderful things are the people who get taken away from us. It's not the people who are out here living grimy, lives. So it's kind of difficult for the city right now. Like we're mourning, and hopefully like some good will be found within the bad, right?
Yeah.
We just keep his family lifted up and send lots of love and positive energy to his babies. And from what I see, with all the love that the city has, like I think his family's gonna be okay. Eventually, that they'll heal, but I feel they're not alone.
Well, I mean, it's like the morning, but I don't feel like like when you lose who you can never get them back. Like that's why I never know what to say in those kind of situations. Like, is there anything you need?
Right.
Other than that, I don't know. I can't even tell you it's gonna be okay because like.
Right, and it's like you can't say I'm sorry. Like you sorry for your loss, but it's like this person ain't even in the right frame of mind right now. So. I don't know.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, please rest in peace, and we're just sending lots of love to the family, to the city, because we took an L on this one. But so we're gonna move. I just wanted to talk about something else that happened. For what now? In Arlington, there was a newborn found near a dumpster, zipped inside of a suitcase. So a lady lived in Montero Point Apartments on Tanner Oak Lane in Arlington. She went to go take her trash out, and she heard a baby crying, and she was like,
"Sorry, there's nothing to do with this at all. We're not laughing. I don't mean to laugh."
You laughing at Kamika's face?
Yes. Should have made this strong ass drink. I was just like,
is it involuntary for him?
Yeah, and then she seen it, and then we're sorry. Like,
okay,
I'm so sorry.
These inappropriate hosts. Okay, so serious face. So, a newborn was found near a dumpster and was zipped inside a suitcase. Like I said, a lady went to go take her trash out, and she heard a baby crying and kind of was trying to figure out what was going on, and she unzipped the suitcase, and there was a 4-pound, 12-ounce little boy who had no visible injuries, umbilical cord and placenta still attached.
That's probably part of why he's still alive.
Right, because he was still getting some sort of nutrients from the lotus birth.
Yes.
So they're trying to figure out locate the mother. And so they said they interviewed several women who were pregnant who lived in the apartment complex, and they're still trying to figure out
which one of them pushed the baby out.
They just don't know. They don't know who the baby belonged to. And so, but the thing is, stuff like this is not necessary. Like, I remember somebody left a baby in the trash can at the Applebee's.
At the Applebee's?
And legally, you can take children to
they have the Moses law.
Yeah, like you can and walk away.
If the baby is 60 days or younger,
and you can't even
take the baby to the fire station. No questions asked. Hand the baby over and walk away.
Why
you don't
not?
have to put the baby in a suitcase. You don't have to leave the baby in the trash can, in the dumpster, Brenda. You don't have to do it. So,
okay, Brenda had a baby. Looking at I'm like, her name was Brenda. I'm like, I thought they didn't find the girl. Okay.
No, but we got to just have some better decision making. I feel like people been doing crazy stuff since the beginning of time, right? But I do feel like things have gotten like abundantly egregious, like over time. Like people just do not consider, like,
especially with social. But I mean, I feel like with social media, like I feel like since this probably has been going on forever, but now we can see it.
Right.
Between them people killing their kids left and right.
Right.
Like, it's like...
Stop leaving your babies in the car.
Somebody jumped in front of a train the other day. I'm still haven't figured out what his motive was.
Marcus said, what y'all be doing? Finding the worst news y'all can find.
First of all, I'm about to choke.
Nigga,
it's a sad day. It's 30-something podcast. He said the worst news y'all.
So tell me what news is good news.
Tell us what you want to hear. We need to do a poll.
Have you ever watched the news and seen some good news? Let me know. So it's always a tragedy somewhere. I ain't trying
Lisa
to
Ray.
Tragedy, but
Lisa Ray was named
Queen Mother.
Yeah, Queen Mother of Ghana.
But did you see the king?
You ain't stop being diamond. Like,
girl.
I just want to dance.
Diamond.
That's it. Like Ebony. Like she
I guess she has a lot
diamond.
of humanitarian efforts over there.
Well, since she was the
have you seen the king?
She the queen of Turks and Caicos.
Well, she was married.
She was married to the.
So that.
So I think that's how she got
the prime minister.
Well, they said that due to her, it's like it's an honorary thing due to all her philanthropy and humanitarian efforts or whatever.
That's
but did you see the king she was next to?
No.
Yeah, I'm leaving the country. So first of all, I'm like all the black men outside of America, fine. I'm like, that's where my husband.
Was fine.
Yeah, he was fine.
Girl, that's like a
you
whole
be Queen Mother too.
That's like a whole African community in Dallas.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
all you got to do is go to.
But if they American, like that don't count.
Oh, they got to be
like the other day. I was
got his own money.
No, but you know what's funny? You know how like there was like this big push where you see all these men. We're going to find our women in other countries because they're more submissive and all this other shit. And then I thought about it, and even some of my girlfriends right now, they're like in Dubai and there are other places, and they're meeting these African men from the UK. She's like, girl, he got a job. She like, I see why. She got a job. She like, he own a business. She like, he
got a car.
We like, we're sitting like, she like, no wonder they women submissive. I'm like, well, hell, if I being act like that, we would act like that.
Well, I just think that society's a little bit different in other places. I feel like America has pushed women, especially black women.
Oh, definitely.
To be like this independent, thing, and then it became like
it's part of our culture.
And then it became a part of pop culture.
Yeah, it was cute. They got independent songs.
Right.
You got your own. You like now we sitting over here like.
Right.
I got all my own.
And I feel like it's cute to be independent until you laying in your bed by yourself and you need somebody to open the pickle jar.
Okay. or you hear that sound.
Or
you're like, what is that
on top
sound?
of the refrigerator.
Or you got to change that flat tire.
Right.
Like you know how, but you don't feel like doing it.
Right.
But I don't want
your
to do
battery
that. Girl, yes. Like sometimes, but that's why sometimes I think maybe I don't deserve a man.
So can we talk about?
Because I don't be wanting them for the right reasons.
I wish we would have showed that video of Fantasia's husband talking about.
Oh yeah.
Women being
submission.
Women submitting.
I'm sure everybody on the internet saw it.
So
I didn't see the video, but I heard what he said. But then I also heard he owed child support and got some other shit.
On another up note, Dallas's own Yellow Beezy is in concert with Chris Brown.
Yeah, because they got the song, the Occupy song.
On the 5th, y'all.
In Dallas. So it's some good stuff going on in the city at the same time that we got some tragedy.
Yeah.
I guess
most definitely. Thank you.
He wants to highlight that.
Yeah, Yellow Beezy. And the concert is on the 5th.
October 5th.
And Errol Spencer's having a championship
but
boxing match in LA.
He is.
But we lost Andre. Okay.
Yeah. And it's like
we did just put a bunch of negative. It's like when I thought back, like, yeah, our breaking news definitely was negative.
But y'all, how did y'all feel about Fantasia and her bow?
So I didn't hear all of what he said, but I did watch.
Can you find that clip? Because I want to hear.
I found her interview on Breakfast Club, and I feel like there's some validity in what she says. I think that the whole idea of submission is especially like just the whole idea of marriage has a lot of religious connotation. And so when you talk about women submitting, and it just has like a lot of religious rhetoric that's associated with it. And I think it gets taken out of context.
Oh, definitely.
And so
to the extreme in a negative way.
Yeah. And so I feel like if you choose someone to lead you, to like be the head of the household, because somebody got to be head of the household, I already said so. So whoever is the head of the household, that is the person who does, like, I feel like does the bulk of the decision making with while consulting you, right? Like I believe in a partnership.
He explained it that way, that he didn't think that it was a
dictatorship.
That he thought that you have to work together. You have to consider, like, in order to lead, you have to be able to consider your wife's feelings and what she wants, her mind, and all of that.
Right.
And I thought that the best part of what he said, which everybody has their own views of who they serve or who God is, what I'm saying, to them. And to take out what you may think or what somebody else thinks, I think that if somebody is following something that they feel is a greater power and it's a positive thing, that it is easier to follow somebody that you feel like is listening to something that is divine or that's good.
Right.
And I feel like the way he explained it was good, but I saw a lot of women come back, and I feel like it was all the independent women that came back and was like, so you following him and he ain't even got no money, and like,
you taking advice from a chick that got sued by somebody else's wife for working at T-Mobile.
But they said that he used to work at Sprint or something like that.
He worked at T-Mobile and his ex-wife sued her.
Yeah, because she took somebody million or whatever. But
then I heard he owes back child support. Because the internet's going to find everything. You don't say shit.
And he might.
Like, you need to submit to the law first.
But here's my thing.
They say that. I said, that's so fancy. They ain't going to let this nigga make it.
The internet don't let nobody make it.
You got to clean up your credit, your background, everything before you go.
What Dave
Chappelle go live, nigga.
What did you Dave Chappelle said he didn't want to, he's like, nah, it's you guys. Like, right. Y'all the one fucking up people's careers.
We'll cancel the shit out your ass in a minute. Like, Black Twitter has I think because Black Twitter is encompassing, like, of so many Black women, and that we will go fucking Perry Mason in a minute, like, Nick. And next thing you know, we done got somebody whole background check, my life.
And the funny part is, I feel like with the right person, those same women that went hard will be submissive around the right man. Because I feel like submission also means that you have leadership capabilities. There's certain qualities that, a man he has the ability to lead, and a woman will follow him, even the strongest woman, if he handling his shit.
I don't know. Some women aren't coachable. Like, some women aren't, because I feel like if a woman stays single too long, you in trouble. If you meet a woman and she's been single for the past 8 to 10 years, and she's been,
hold on, bring it back. I'm almost on the cusp.
This is my opinion based off of what I've seen, right? If you have a woman who has been running her own household for 8 to 10 years, she ain't had to answer to nobody. She's been able to put food on her own table. She don't need you, and it's not necessarily that she's saying I don't want you, right? Is that I don't need you.
But it's like, how do you incorporate somebody after you've done that for so long? Because you still have to bring.
But what it sounds like is, I ain't got to have you. You are option to me. Like, it comes off super abrasive to me, and when you don't let them in, right? And it's like, I understand that you're so strong and you can do all of this by yourself, but I'm telling you that you don't have to. And it's like, to permeate that wall when you have somebody who's been doing everything by themselves for 8 to 10 years, like, you in trouble. And I've seen dudes walk away from girls who were absolutely fabulous, looked wonderful on paper, had all the credentials, all the degrees, she dressed nice, she smelled good, she fine, this and that, but she was just too strong-headed for her own good because she had been single for too long. Like, you have to, like, being with somebody is a learned skill. You have to learn how to be with somebody.
And
that's not something that's
compromise,
a
lot of
self-check. Because a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us grew up in single parent homes.
Right.
So we haven't even really seen.
Right. We haven't seen
how it works.
And you don't know what it's like to have a man that has good intentions want to lead you in your, like, wait, what? What did you say to me? And it's like, and then you look, I've had the times I have to sit back like, he meant, like, actually everything he said was positive. I just ain't appreciate his delivery. Look, I ain't appreciate your delivery. You tone deaf, nigga. Like, but I also feel like, I think Jill Scott, she summed it up for me perfectly one day. she was like, either he could tell me what to do or he can't tell me what to do.
Right.
So certain men like, nah, and there's some men I'm like, okay, so what is it that you need? How?
That's kind of like the post that Drea made when she was like, I was in the car and I was about to go off on this nigga. Like,
I said, like, I put up a post on Facebook. I was like, I knew he was the one. We was in the car and what was that, like 23, 22 when I met him. And I was used to, but he's a little bit older than me. And I was used to being with guys like my age, and just if I felt like saying something, I would just say that. And if, I got mad, then I would raise my voice a little bit. And I was in the car and we were driving and I was mad and I started doing all this and raised my voice. And he just put his hand up and he was like, nah, you gonna learn how to talk to me first. And I just shut up.
But then you thought it was cute though too, probably like, okay. I was like, well damn, I guess I shut the fuck up then. And he was like, no, you ain't gonna be talking. He said, I don't know who you used to talking to, but you ain't got to speak to me like that. I'm a grown ass man. Like, I respect you, I don't raise my voice at you, don't raise your voice at me. Right. And like to this day, like now when I see people arguing out in public, I'm like, she ain't even got to be talking to me. She was just at this last week.
I think that's important because just the same way as he said that he doesn't raise his voice at you.
Right.
So I don't treat you in that manner. Right. So you shouldn't treat me.
It's a mutual respect.
And I think that's what he was saying too when he was like, when you were led by something higher, then you know how to treat people. Right. You treat them differently. So then
you teach people how to treat you.
Yeah. So when you don't give that type of energy, you don't receive it well, and you don't expect to receive it.
Right. You set the expectations.
Clip?
Sure. We're gonna show the clip real fast.
Can y'all hear it? Look, like first one, we're not supposed to hear. They're like, nah.
Can y'all hear the video? Lisa said no.
All right, well that was
y'all look for that.
Well, that's the video, y'all. Y'all can go find it.
She said what
I was wondering what she was talking about because I seen the video. The sound
isn't. But y'all go watch the video. Hell, it's viral. It is. It is. But I just feel like when there's nothing condescending about. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, when you say you want a man, you want a damn man.
Yeah, I don't want a man I can walk over. Like if I'm. Like
I dated a guy once.
That's
like,
a turn on.
Years ago, I dated a guy, and I promise you, like he was wonderful. Like he would come up with like some of the most creative dates and like all kind of stuff. But when I tell you, if I told him to shut up, do you know that nigga would literally shut up? Like he would stop fucking talking. And I just like I wasn't trying to, but I just started running all over him.
Now that would be such a turn.
And I wasn't even trying to. It's just that because I have a real dominant personality, and so if you gonna be acting like that, both of us can't act like that. So if you gonna be acting like that, then
I'm a dude. Like you have like pretty much that's how it works. Like well,
you have to provide that balance. Like
someone's gonna leave,
right? You have to provide that balance, and you have to have trust. Like, why even be with somebody if you don't trust them in that way?
Trust where they're taking, and it's like, where they.
Oh, I'm with
really
you.
That's where it.
You don't want to hand over that control.
But if you're with them, like as a woman, if you're with a man and you're more dominant than him, like women want to feel protected. Mm-hmm. So if you're going out somewhere, and if I can dominate you in a conversation or any type of
please don't start nothing because I'm gonna have to fight for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fighting with you. No, I don't want to do that, sir. No.
It's just not attractive, and it does come across as weak. And it doesn't mean that man is weak, but maybe he's just not for me.
But I feel like in certain instances, like as long as there's balance, I feel like as long as there's balance, because you can have a woman that's super dominant and have a man that doesn't appear to be so dominant in certain ways, but he might be more dominant when it comes to like. Right, in other ways. Like, he might be more dominant sexually. He might be more dominant, like, when it comes to controlling finances and stuff like that. But when you look at it externally, when you see the two of them, or he might be the better parent. Like, some women ain't good at raising kids. They might think they are, but they're not. And the dad might be the primary parent. Yeah. So I feel like as long as there's some sort of balance within the relationship, you can still have somebody who, the man can still be the head, But as long as you have some sort of balance provided,
as long as you can be a kind person, you could you could be an alpha male, still be kind, be compassionate. I want to say like even my ex-husband, like he's real laid back and quiet. So if at any point that he do actually, it's kind of like he don't have to say much because it's like he don't ever say shit. So if he, I'm just gonna be quiet over here. I'm just gonna be right here.
You know, like he's not a social butterfly at all. Like you have to come to the house a couple times for him to like have a real conversation with you. But me, I could walk outside and see somebody and we start having and next thing you know, we best friends. Like we just have a different type of personality. But when it comes to like being a man and me trusting him to know that it's gonna get taken care of, because I'm not calling nobody else. That's why we doing this, so I ain't got to call nobody else. So that you are now that nigga. So like when I ain't calling Mike no more. I can't call my daddy no more. So you are now that nigga. So if I got the flat tire, you know what I'm saying? If I'm low on bread, like you are now, and I have to be able to trust you with that.
You're gonna come through,
right? Exactly, because that's also you being vulnerable to some degree. Right. So even though it's like somebody you're doing something for me, but I have the need, and I'm being open with you, and I'm allowing you to meet that need. Right. And so going back to you could easily be, well, that's you like my tire flat. Well, that's too bad. So what you finna do? Nigga, I'm finna call my man. I'm finna call my real man because this would never happen.
I'm finna call that other nigga come change my tire because you tripping. But I mean, it takes.
Wilson said all his chicks depend on him.
But
honestly,
he said I'm reliable.
But there's definitely an evolution that has to happen, and the thing is, people feel like you gonna get in a relationship and already be well put together. It takes so long to find your groove with somebody, like your real groove. Like you can like click with somebody and y'all can connect. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it takes years to find your rhythm in a relationship and like to not be offended by somebody's personality.
Because when you start to know who they are,
can become somebody completely different.
Right, you can grow together or grow apart,
and you have to readjust.
Right,
or you have to remove.
And you have to be willing to readjust. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you ain't never been this way. Well, maybe they trying something. Like you have to be so open. There's so many different dynamics when it comes to having like romantic relationships. I mean, but these are the same relationships that you. Usually, when I see people who have a lot of friction with their friends, they usually can't keep a man either. Like it's usually the same. You have problems with relationships.
You're usually the problem.
Period. Right. You usually have problems with relationships. Period, because you don't know how to relate to somebody. Right. You know. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. So we're going.
Did we finish talking about the baby?
We did finish.
After y'all laughed about the guy.
We did not laugh about the baby.
It was so misplaced though.
But all of like the whole alcohol exchange between me and Kamika was like us giggling and like stop. I'm like, okay.
Sasha, okay, I'm gonna read a comment from Sasha. She said, I'm gonna tell you like this. I gotta be tough as nails at work and everywhere else all day long. I want to come home and be able to be soft and watch my husband be the Hulk.
I felt that shit though. Like exactly. You want to come home? That's your sanctuary. Like, can I just crawl in your lap and do nothing? Right. I'm right here.
Marty said when he was a boy, he let women take care of him.
Nigga. But I just feel like whatever you do in a relationship,
Sasha just made a record.
So you saying that they the raggedy ass common denominator? Yes, you are. They are the raggedy common denominator. But I feel like whatever you do in a relationship, you have to be intentional. Like, cause it's easy to like kind of get lost in day to day, especially when you're grown, you got kids and y'all got jobs, like, and you down to like 2 hours a day.
Exactly, you have to want it.
You have to be
purposeful. Everything is like, okay, I did this. No, everything.
Right. You have to be able to take that time out. You know, and sometimes you might just like, damn, let me text and see if this nigga done ate today. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be really intentional when it comes to relationship. And I just feel like if you put that energy into your relationship. And it's not on some what I can gain out of this. Is how can I be there for you? Because I feel like when you with somebody, you're there to add to their life. Right, you're there to add value.
And
to
if
them,
everyone
and
is
they are
doing
there to add value. Like
if everyone's doing that, you win.
I'm not losing. I ain't got to worry about losing because I know that you working hard for me and I'm working hard for you. So as long as you being intentional about it, then you don't even have to worry about it. You're not gonna lose.
And I think that's the problem though, is that so many people they love with the intention of not losing, where it's more or less what I'm gonna get out of the situation. And so it's like,
when you do that, then the other person is
so then it's just like I'm worried about me and he worried about me kind of situation. You're like, but what about him? Oh, but again, well, I don't. that doesn't work. That can't work. It's impossible. Because even too, it's a cycle.
And meanwhile, he and somebody DM because you tripping.
Mm-hmm. That's how y'all got the men in y'all DMs right there.
Oh God.
Because women not intentional.
You have to be intentional. Women be intentional.
Men too.
Men be intentional too.
It's women that slide in men DMs too.
Kristen said intentionality. Yes, indeed. Yeah, you have to love. You have to intentionally love. Like you have to go out of your way. But anyway, so moving on from that, I didn't even want us to talk about that for so long. We just kind of got on a roll.
Well, like it wasn't sad.
So that's the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you guys for watching.
So we're gonna show this little video about because they said the Trump. Somebody put in a formal impeachment.
Nancy Pelosi
put in a formal impeachment complaint.
So it has to pass the House of Representatives first, and then 2/3 of the Senate. But if I'm not mistaken, Senate majority is Republican. Mm-hmm. However, the Republicans, they have spoke on it and they seem real neutral. But I know they don't really fuck with him neither. So it's still just like a toss up. Like, well,
yeah. So we're gonna show. Or we can't even show the video because they can't hear it.
Because then too, my only thing is if Trump is impeached, then we have Mike Pence. And Mike Pence is actually a very likable guy among conservatives.
So they said that the impeachment was that he like wanted to do something about what was it?
So
was it Biden?
So one of the issues with the impeachment was one, he was withholding funds that were supposed to go to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
In addition to that, he reached out to them, asking them. It almost seems like he might be hanging that over their head, where he asked them to do to investigate Joe Biden's son. Okay. So there's that. Also, there was it's a whistleblower that came out and he had allegations against Trump, and basically they were asked not to basically silence the whistleblower, and so that came.
So
out.
Basically, everybody's sick of shit.
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounds like.
And last week you ran a red
light.
Right. And like you ain't got your registration.
And I feel like they just,
keep coming home late.
No, I don't think Melania cares about that shit at all. She is just so tired of him. Like every time I see them together, I'm like, she is so sick of him.
But I feel like silencing a whistleblower does go against, technically kind of goes against the Constitution, right? And then if it's derogatory information regarding Trump, then it's like he's basically using his power to prevent someone from bringing the truth to light.
But I mean, is that not like him?
No.
Like that's him.
That's the whole fucking system.
Right.
Like, wasn't that the way the country was established?
Right. I mean, that's why Ed Snowden hiding out in Russia.
Yeah, he's Russian now.
He Russian now because he's a whistleblower. So, and Kristen says she don't trust Mike Pence. Listen, Mike Pence is somebody from the Purge. Every time I see him, I am afraid. Like he has this waxy kind of look about his face. Like he don't look real.
That's almost why I would almost prefer to keep Trump.
Almost like that Joel Osteen kind of look.
Like we don't know what to expect.
An option, Mike Pence?
Yeah, he would be next immediately, and then I would see him actually getting the conservative vote.
So do y'all think he's gonna? Trump is gonna win?
No, but I think that's.
Do I feel like he's gonna win the next election? Yes.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I feel like there's too much division among the Democratic Party and liberals in general. So that's what's going to divide the vote. I will say, like, I didn't even vote for a Democrat last go round.
What about Bernie?
I mean, I used to be a Bernie fan, and then I'm not.
Bernie,
what about
especially with the anti-reparation shit? I'm like,
and then he's like, and I don't even appreciate.
He said he would do the research on it, and he would pay for the investigation into.
But he doesn't feel like that race issues actually exist. Like he tries to. No, he feels like it's more of a class issue or a money issue versus. Which sometimes I feel like that sometimes race issues.
I feel like we'll trickle that down to that.
Right.
Once we get past race issues, then it'll definitely be a higher view.
But he doesn't feel like it's a real thing. Like it's not, and it's like just because it's not your reality, old ass white man, doesn't mean that it's not someone like it's not a reality for other people.
What about the vice president, Barack Obama?
Joe Biden's old, and a lot of his dirt is coming out. Just
I don't like Joe Biden.
Like just like the net do what the net do. They were bringing up stuff about him.
What's her name? Harris?
Kamala.
What do I think about her?
I feel like she wants a power grab. Like she wants it because for her whole career is based on her being in the most powerful positions ever.
Though. And that's the thing. Like she's a black woman and she's super freaking smart, and I feel like she might be calculated as well. Of course, I mean, you can't be a politician and not be calculated. You can't be a politician and not be manipulating. You can't there are a lot of horrible qualities that you have to have in order to be a politician. But I feel like her being super smart, it plays to her advantage. And a lot of people don't like her because she was DA.
She was a DA and she actually did her job.
Right, and it's like, well, she was the goddamn DA. Like
you did your job and you did really
great.
Create
the system.
It's exactly.
I think Beto is slightly lightly running. His name is still coming up, but even too, you see,
you can't win governor.
But going back to see how many damn names are in the hat. Like that's really what happened.
What about the Asian dude that said, "I'm Asian," so
I know
a lot of doctors.
He said, and I'm like, well, you ain't allowed to say that shit. Like we can say that shit, but you can't say that shit.
I don't mean to just be discriminatory, but too, I feel like that. I don't know. I respect people that come from hardworking backgrounds, hardworking families, or whatever. So of course, I would like someone that's not a real life politician, which is why certain people, to me, like for me, Hillary wasn't somebody I wanted to vote for.
Hillary.
Like she wasn't. So when it came,
it was a lesser of two evils decision.
And even back then, I was a Bernie Sanders fan though, long before Bernie actually ran for president, because I used to have a lot of clients in Vermont, and I would go up there, so I knew a lot of things he'd done for the people that lived in that state. Right. However, when he ran for president, I felt like he was too passive in some areas. And then, too, Hillary being a woman, I feel like automatically women are so quick to give another woman their vote because it is, to some degree, it's a token in itself. Like, that's never happened. Like, but going back to, like, that's never happened. So it's like all these women were supporting her. And I feel like, but she comes from a corrupt background. Her family's corrupt. Like she's come from just a legacy of politicians.
You was corrupt when your husband was president.
Pence said he can send homosexual people to a camp to fix them. I said if that is where he is starting, then black people will be next.
But I mean, hold on,
no. At these camps.
Hold on. So there's a whole culture of people, and they are mostly white, who send their children to these camps who are homosexual and to be fixed. And there's a whole documentary. There's a documentary, but I cannot think of the name of it. I cannot think of the name of it, but it's a religious camp that people has. And there's one boy, he had wrote a whole documentary about his experience that he had. His parents sent him, and they weren't really sure about what was going on at the camp because the guy who was over the camp was telling them like, don't go back and tell what's going on or whatever. But they supposed to like they were like, you shouldn't be affected, and they would like beat them with. They would like try to. No, it wasn't nothing like that. But they had some.
That might have worked out though. I could see that. Like
they had some girls.
Maybe they did have them have.
They had girls there that were struggling with their sexuality.
I don't want it. Please, I don't want it. You're like, no, just.
That's fucking rape. What the hell?
I know.
We ain't giving them no more security. This shit getting illegal. What are they talking about? Bro, we finna shut it down. You give these people a little bit of Jose, and I am appalled.
Okay, they were sending them to camps.
Sending them to correct their homosexuality. So, I mean, that is a thing. But to Kristen's point, she said there's so many candidates, and so many candidates are divisive, though. It confuses the uninformed voter. So, it's she's absolutely, like, did y'all see the panel where it was like Candace, the black Republican Candace? What's her last name?
Bettis or something?
No.
Candace.
I can't think of her last name, y'all. What's Candace's last name? So you got Candace, and then there was like Killer Mike, T.I. All them were sitting on a panel.
Okay.
And it was like an hour and 20-minute discussion. I didn't get to watch the entire thing, but it was super awesome what I did get to watch. And I'm going to go back and post it on our page.
I love Killer Mike.
So Killer Mike made this point. He said there's so many candidates, and what we need to do as black people is to ensure that the things that we want are on the table. If we're 15% of the population, then we need to make sure that we're 15% of the CEOs, that we're 15% of the directors, that we're 15% Candace Owens. And we need to have these demands that we come together and say, hey, you got some really nice qualities, you got some really nice qualities. How can we combine this and put together a 10-point white page bullet that says, hey, this is what we want. Can you meet the demands? Back it with our money by supporting them, and get a candidate through instead of everybody all split up trying to do their own thing.
My thing is, can it really be done? I mean,
narrow it down.
I don't feel like it, but even like so you narrow it
down.
Poor
white people voted for Trump.
So like,
not that he won from the popular vote, but poor white people voted for him like he fucking had their best interest at heart, and he didn't. He actually,
a lot of them
helped more rich black people.
So a lot of them have turned on him now.
So the thing about that is, so a lot of white men running for whatever the president, this or that, they typically ignore the poor working class.
Right, and he did not.
And so he did not do that. And even if you look at when you listen to everyone speak, so they name black people, they'll name this group, but for some reason the poor white working class, they don't talk about them. Just no different than sometimes to some degree, black folks who got their shit, they don't ever talk about the other black folks that don't have their shit and still need a leg up. Like, we need a leg. How dare you offend me with that micro? But then it is that thing where it's like we get offended. Like, well, first of all, we're all not poor. Okay, but nigga, you know there's a subgroup within your group that is, okay?
Right.
So let's not forget, but two, we want to hide them too. There's a group of us that would love for them to disappear as well, because that's what we do, right? Some of us get ahead and we close the door behind us. Like, oh. But the thing is, he appealed to them and he spoke to them, so he made them feel like they were noticed. And I mean, I'll be honest with you and say that my personal views, most of them are really conservative. There's nothing liberal about what I personally, for my own life. Now, what you do, everybody, like, that's your business. But I even think that's conservative. For me to say that you have a right to live your life the way you want, that technically would be conservative. I'm minding my damn business. I don't want the government in my business. I don't need any side. Exactly. So to me, but ideally, but I'm still not going to vote for one of them pricks. Because I'm like, yeah, nah, y'all just, I'm not.
And when I went to go see D.L. Hughley, he was like, people asked him how he felt about Trump. He was like, save me a lot of money.
And I did get money. I did get a nice lump sum. Like tax return, my shit wasn't short. I don't know about you guys. I was doing good. I owed less.
He is here for the rich. And I feel like innately,
and I ain't rich,
the majority of the elite white are racist by default. You know, it's like it's something that's built inside of them where there's just like a racial hierarchy that they feel like, and it's like, oh, it's not that I hate you, it's just we're just better than you. It's okay though, but y'all think you're cool. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that is a part of it, but I don't think that Trump is one of those. I don't feel like he thinks he's one of these overtly racist people where he's like, well, I don't want you to die. I just think that y'all live in a shitty country. That's not the same thing. Not to him. Right. And so
it's like he's like, yeah, like no different than the Bohemians that were coming over here. I don't want you to die, but you damn sure can't come here with your poverty or anything. He's like, I wish you the best. Hope you figure it out somewhere in the Caribbean, but you can't come here.
Right. There was that, and then like the whole wall fiasco. Like, he doesn't look at that as being racist. He just feels like, I'm protecting what we have here. Right, this country and what we have here. I just feel like he's an idiot. Like, I feel like he doesn't think about what he says, but he's always been that way.
He's always been that.
He's always been that person.
But I feel like
Oprah Winfrey talks shit about him, but they used to be cool as fuck.
So, but that's what. So
when
this
he wasn't the president.
This is my thing about white people, and me being related to white people. Like, her mom was like, I feel like it's not even so much about, they just only give a fuck about themselves. Like, they don't care what's happened to the next person. Like, sometimes I'll even my mom, like, damn, you are so easily inconvenienced. It could be the simplest. Like, bruh, calm down. And I almost, what it's like, so there's this sense of, the sense of entitlement, and just, I only care about I've television. It's only about me. If it doesn't benefit me, I don't care. I don't feel like they have any sense of tribalism. And like, maybe to some degree, depending on what the situation is, if they feel like they're being attacked, like white males right now, they're very sensitive. It's on high alert. So now they're all friends. Them motherfuckers walk past each other, don't speak. They don't say good morning. Like,
well, they might, but it won't be real.
Like, yeah, but going back to, it's like for show. Legitimately, they are cold on the inside. Not saying that that's all white people, but it's definitely there. And where I feel like black people, oftentimes we come across mean, but we're really warm. And that's why we're regarding the fact that we're so warm, because we care. And that's where that tribalism comes from.
I feel like they do have tribalism, though, because they move, they move to protect themselves, but they move to protect themselves as a unit.
But
do you see what I'm saying?
I see that, but then I don't, because I would say that, like, think about even we look at immigration. When the Irish came, they were dirty. So it's like they only become like, well, it's really based off convenience. Well, now I kind of need you, so But other than that, fuck you. I'm German. I'm English. I'm Scottish. I'm this or that. Then it's like, well, we need your vote, so let's all come together. no different kind of to some degree. Like I feel like now, if I were to say one group particularly sticks together consistently, no matter what, Jewish people,
right?
No matter
they got
what,
all the fucking money.
No matter what, they like and going back, but
they control the banks.
And going back to it's in their interest again. Like
what? Yeah, I mean, like culturally they stick together, and but I feel like the black culture we don't have that. Like we really don't have.
I don't think
we are so focused on surviving, like individually, that we can't understand how to survive as a unit.
But I don't think that's possible. Like even if you look at what's going on in South Africa right now with the Nigerians and just that whole thing where they feel like, I feel like going back, that's where the elitism falls into. Oh, well, they have all the money. They have this. Like I feel like as long as there's like tribalism, or there's always going to be some other, no different. Or even if we
but we don't have that here. Like there aren't that many rich.
No, but
people.
But then we'll also say, well, that okay, so blacks and Africans, they feel like they're different. So
we are.
But yes and no. But then you're still a white man.
They feel like they different.
But then I feel like African Americans feel like they think they different too.
But we are.
Yes and no.
Like, but
we're not going to say. But if we're saying we need to be community,
right?
Then we're not.
We support each other, but our struggles are different. We don't have the same struggles that they have when they come here. Like they come here with completely different set of opportunities.
Oh yeah,
than we have.
But I feel like that's not their fault.
I'm not saying it's their fault, but I'm saying it's what it is.
But I'm seeing someone walking past them. They're going to be treated the same. No different than that some African Somalian police officer. He was going to be treated the same.
Right.
And that's my thought process of, and that's part of
they
why.
Won't be received this. They'll be. We are all received the same.
Yeah, right. We're all received, and that's how you walk.
Right. But if you're looking at the, you can't lump us together necessarily. Like not when it comes to. Well, you can when it comes to certain issues, but not when it comes to other issues because our plight is completely different. I've tried talking to a Native African about our structure that we have here in America when it comes to black people and how we grew up
raise our children,
etc. But how we don't have an advantage here, and that there is such thing as white privilege because there is the global concept of racism, but they understand it differently than what we do here.
Exactly.
They look at us and say y'all lazy.
Sometimes I look at us and say we lazy.
But it's like, are we really lazy, or maybe won't nobody hire them niggas? Like,
I don't know. But then I will say, like, I look at other countries. Like I have friends that are Japanese or Vietnamese, and I'll listen to their family story, and they came from a really legitimate yes, slavery was hard. I'm not taking anything away from it. Yes, we deal with us dealing with institutionalized racism and things like that. But then it's like no, they physically well no, my father was in a concentration camp in the 70s. What the fuck? Yeah, well,
and then y'all got paid.
Yeah, but going back to that, but that doesn't. But even when we get paid, that doesn't change the narrative. We still you really can't pay me enough money from what you took from me.
You can try.
I mean, I'm always down.
But I mean,
how long were they in concentration camps?
It just would vary. But going back to it's not a comparison. I'm just going.
Right, it's not about
the fact that it was just
me, who has the worst.
It was just more like last week. This is what my mom went through. You know what I mean? Like my father, yes, he was pulled over multiple times in the South because he was with my mother. You know what I mean? It's like he had his own struggles.
They feel like we squander our opportunities. They do.
But I sometimes think we do too.
I've talked to because the Nigerians that they have taken over the healthcare industry. And I used to work at a hospital setting, and so I got a chance to talk to a lot of Nigerians, and they love Nigeria. Like all they talk about is how beautiful it is, and they talk shit about being here. And I'm like, well, why are you here?
But then
it's so wonderful over there, and it's like y'all are so lazy. You could be doing this, and you could be doing it. It's like, could I really?
Well, too, I feel like they come here and they get money and they send it back, and that's kind of what a lot of people from different foreign countries do.
I have a manager. And he's here, and he has stock in Nigeria.
Yeah,
and he also buys old beat up Toyotas that are Savage titles, and then sends them back over there. And he's starting a transportation company. And then he also has a son that is just now entering into his residency for
even my Nigerian friends, they keep
and
accounts
he was
here
showing
and
me
there.
a video of all of the kids that were entering into the program. And every black kid that was in there was Nigerian. Mm-hmm. There were no African Americans. There were whites or Asians, and then there was Nigerians. And I had a whole conversation with him about, the things that they teach their kids as far as education and all of that type of stuff. And the stuff that we talk about, like let your kid play a instrument
That's not
let them play sports and all this type of stuff. You come home and you talking about that, you're gonna be like, you're in trouble. Real problems. Like, I don't want to hear nothing about no music.
You want to paint a picture?
What? You want to paint a picture?
I had a friend. He wanted to paint a picture. His father owned a construction company, and I want to say Legos, and he wanted to be an artist. And like, he actually good art. No, that's a wrap. You're gonna be a doctor, or I'm not paying for shit.
Right.
And it's like, and it's consistent even too. There's not like, even how to some degree, like we have all our issues of, well, hey, I wasn't loved. Fuck, did I keep a roof over your head? Did I like, well,
it's like, you used to beat my mama right in front of me. I'll beat your ass too. But I mean, and it's all about the protection of the culture, and I feel like we don't really feel like we have a culture to protect, right? And so
I feel like we've created ours. Like as African Americans, we've created our culture, and we continue to create it. Like,
but it's super
manufacturing as
right.
we go.
You're right.
Like, we're making it up as we go. We like, well, shit, I don't know. We're like, it's real wavy.
But it's not protected, is what I'm saying. Like, it's not protected culture. It's, you go to other cultures, like even Hispanics. You do have the Hispanics who are the coconuts who don't speak no Spanish at all, and they kind of like renounce being Mexican. But for the most part, most Mexicans are super deep in culture. Like yes, I mean, they still listening to the mariachi music at all ages.
But I guess it's like we don't have that. And then going back to, and even the things where I feel like it's like, even with like Afrocentrism or what is it, Pan-African, like we're trying to cling on to something too that even that culture has left. Right. But even that culture has left Africa. So it's like, unless you're going to an indigenous tribe within, certain areas, like that has left. Like, and so it's like we're trying to grasp onto to these concepts, but even these concepts are no longer being exercised there as well. It's just, but I feel like that's what kind of makes our plight definitely difficult as far as identity goes.
I watched a Netflix special with Chelsea Handler, and she was on a Netflix special
really good.
on white privilege, and that was what Tiffany Haddish was saying, that we don't really have anything to hold on to.
Right.
And
is that why we be so mad?
That's what Black people are so mad about.
Right.
That's what she was saying.
Speaking of that, how did you guys feel about the H&M thing?
I feel like all the baby's hairs was messed. All the baby's hair was messed up. And I feel like the image that they was trying to get was the kids when they come home after a long day of work, of school and work, and that's how they look. Like that's how the.
But it's so sad that we were so triggered and so mad. H&M like, fuck y'all, we can't.
Well,
and I'm just like, y'all stop.
We was triggered because they before then they had the whole monkey.
That's why we
like,
triggered.
Y'all need to be careful. Right. Like everybody else can do that shit.
But you gotta
Target can have a little nappy head nigga boy or the girl on the.
But y'all can't.
But y'all can't.
But also too, you gotta keep in mind that H&M is an American company. And then to be honest with you, I always see, I hate to say this, but I always see the women with the worst edges be the black women that date white men. Like they always got the worst wigs. Like they always got the worst. I'm like, well, it should happen. Shit. No, but
that baby needed some jam and a toothbrush.
But after 8 hours, that jam might have faded. It's like we're always trying to feel like but we want you to love it. But it's like we want you to love it, but we hate it. And that's one thing I want to say. Is one time I had this conversation, and it's about but looking neat is straight. That's not how you. But going back to we've been conditioned. But if we've been so conditioned that it's like what we deem beautiful or what we deem neat, that isn't how her hair naturally is. Like fuzzy edges is a real thing. Like putting jam on it, like we're relaxing. We're finding a way to refine it.
But white people comb their hair like that's.
But them other kids,
sometimes
the white kids' hair
it just looks unkempt. Like that's all I'm saying. Like you can have natural hair and that shit look neat.
But
that's all I'm saying.
A young white girl's unkempt hair
is gonna look
different than a black girl's.
And are they gonna put her in the?
But they did put her.
No, they did put the unkempt white girl in the magazine. That was the funny part. So it's like they took this one picture of the black girl, but they did not show the other kids. The other kids had unkempt hair too. They just had a finer grade of hair.
Right.
That,
so it looks
a little different. But going back to how we see things, the way we see the world, like, oh, well, that still was, she still was.
I'm gonna talk about anybody got their baby walking around with their edges all out to here. I'm gonna be like, why you ain't brush that baby hair up? Like, and that's not, but that's not covering up. That's not covering up.
It is. It's just like putting on a girdle to try to cover up something
brushing
that you
your
feel
hair.
like it's. I feel like it's all trying to make it look neat, trying to make it look presentable for people.
Ideally presentable.
What it is.
Because even too, but like if you going back to if she brushed it in, like this is a form of relaxation. This is not a like if I tighten it to pull it back in a ponytail. This is not my natural curl pattern. No different than throughout the day. Your hair
this was not a cultural thing to me. I just feel like it's fucked up for you to have kids in a magazine with their kitchen hanging out.
For all
like,
kids,
where was anybody that was like, hey, hold up?
So some of them babies, the white kids, like they had frizzy hair. It didn't look like they parted it or nothing. They just pulled some.
So what was asked actually was that all the kids actually came straight to the photo shoot after school.
Right after school, and that's how they wanted to
and going back to we seen all the photos of how these kids was looking after school
at the day before the morning time, and then the after. Yes. And everybody was laughing when it was their own parents posting the pictures of them. I had my baby's hair all neat, and when she came home from school, she looked a hot mess. And then H&M took
like I said, everybody else can do it. H&M can't. And that's just it.
But
I understand what you're saying.
But even to how we did, but I feel like that. But then
you can't toe the line.
I don't know if you're trying to be funny.
But I don't even feel like they was trying to. One, listen, what I will say, I see lots of kids like with monkey shirts on. In fact, we talk shit in general, like monkeys jumping on the bed. This is a common thing being used. To me, I feel like these are triggers. H&M is a European company. They're not even based in America. But racism globally is different. Each no different. When you I said globally is different. When I step, so let me say like I have cousins from the UK. I have cousins that are from England. So even them being from England, there's not a black or white. It's a like I'm from Australia. I'm from Spain. It's not I'm white or black. If you're African and you're in UK, you're Ghanaian or you're Nigerian. Like there's not this black and white thing. There's a
global association with monkeys to black people. Period. It does not matter.
But going back to the kid's parents, let him wear that shit. Your mom and daddy right there, and you allowed you to wear it. Like, how am I be mad at that?
Yeah, we can talk about the parent, but then at the same time with that, I feel like you still got.
So then, are we going? But then, are we going to? So should we just automatically put a white?
Because who idea was this shit?
So should we put a white boy in the shirt? But then even our minds like, so did you put the white boy?
No, put the white boy in the shirt with the monkey. I'm not gonna think shit.
Put him in the shirt.
Hell, shit. I like watermelon. That's really good for you. It's not because I'm black. Like,
we say I eat crackers every day or something. Then they gonna feel some kind of way.
I wouldn't have felt that like maybe he does eat crackers every day.
I'm saying you can understand.
But black people.
Amber?
Yeah.
Let's get into
so tonight, you guys, we're gonna talk about Amber and the trial.
So yeah, for like 5 minutes because we just done took up our time with some bullshit today. We done shot the shit the whole show. We done forgot what we were supposed to talk about. Thank y'all for staying with us. Y'all some beautiful people.
Yeah,
we just
love y'all.
Well, you see what tequila do to folks. So we gonna talk about the Amber Guyger trial real quick. So the trial, the Amber Guyger trial started yesterday, 8:30 in the morning. Just to recap, y'all should know Amber Guyger. Last September, I think it was the 6th, 2018. She says that she mistakenly, she thought she was at her apartment at Southside Flats on Lamar. She mistakenly went into Botham John's apartment, and she claims that it was self-defense, that she was afraid, and she fired 2 shots into him and ended up subsequently killing him. And so now she's been arrested and on trial for murder. So day 1 of the trial said they came out the gate, right? So this is stuff that we didn't even know about. So they came out the gate. The prosecution is asking for certain evidence to be admitted. The certain evidence that they wanted to be admitted was the fact that Amber was sexting her partner during this time where she was walking into the apartment, parking and walking. Like she was in the middle of having a sexting conversation. So this is her partner. That his last name Martin Rivera. His name is Martin Rivera. He is a Dallas police officer for 16 years, and he's also married to a DPD officer. Hello, so he's married, but they're partners. They're ride-along partners, and they've been sleeping together. And so she's literally like in the DM Snapchatting that cookie right to him and asking him, do you want it? Like all this other sexual stuff, and they asked for this to be admitted into court. and it wasn't just on some trying to assassinate her character type stuff. But what the prosecution was trying to prove was your part of your defense is that you were exhausted because you've been working all these hours, but how exhausted could you be?
She was trying to make a dick appointment.
She did, and so they were supposed to go out for drinks that night, and he was supposed to come over and fix the plumbing. And so she had plans, and so the prosecution laid it out to say, if you were so exhausted to go into the wrong apartment, then why was you making plans to get some D that night? And so they came out the gate with that. So I was like, "Ooh, this trial finna be good."
Ooh, the tea just spilling.
Yeah, and right. And so the trial went on like all day. They played the 911 call. I saw her start crying. She needed tissues. Botham's parents had to leave during the call, and it was so crazy. Like, you listen, and I've heard the call before, but I was listening to it, and
you felt different.
And I'm looking at the time that's passing by, because you're on the phone and you got to stay on the phone with 911. And the whole time she was on the phone with the 911 operator, who also went up on the stand, you did not once try to render aid, give any type of life-saving measures. You didn't apply any pressure to the wound. You didn't do any CPR. Like, the entire time, all you're saying is, "I thought it was my apartment." 22 times during the call, she said, "I thought it was my apartment." And she did not try to save him at all, which I feel like is going to be like the straw that breaks the nail in the coffin with her. So and I want to get this understood, because she's been charged with murder. She can be convicted of manslaughter. So how this works is, when she was initially arrested, the police officers make a recommendation to the district attorney's office. The district attorney then goes to the judge, gets an arrest warrant. The judge then looks at it and makes sure that, there's some sort of probable cause for the arrest warrant, issues the arrest warrant, she gets arrested. So when they go and make the charge, then they recharge her. It's up to the jury to decide whether or not to indict her on that charge. Once the trial starts, even though she's on trial for murder, the judge will give instructions to the jury that you can convict on the murder charge or any lesser charge. So it doesn't mean that if she does not get convicted for murder, because it seems like it's not so much a clear-cut case of murder, because you cannot prove that she didn't accidentally go to his apartment. Like, you can't prove intent at this
What are your that's what I'm saying. You really can't.
She fired a deadly weapon. Isn't that part of?
But it's not intent. Like, she didn't go there.
It does fall under It does fall under to me, the guidelines, and not, of course, I want her like penalized to the fullest extent of the law. However, it definitely does come across as manslaughter, because it was almost as unintentional. So even if, let's say, like, she just, like, going back to, she accidentally, or she just didn't know, all those play into deciding if she has reasonable doubt in essence of saying that she didn't deliberately go to his house to murder him.
Right. And I don't think she went deliberately to his house to murder him. I feel like this, of course, like, Black social media is like, you don't know, and she knew him and all that. She didn't fucking know him. She didn't. She did not know him. I feel like she had a very...
And then with the booty call text, it definitely sounded across like she really just seemed like she was distracted.
She was distracted. And so, so today, they interviewed...
That should mean something, though.
That's not murder.
That's not murder.
That's not murder. Murder comes with intent.
What's the maximum amount of years that you can get for manslaughter?
I think it's 25.
So my question is, though,
that's what she needs.
Is there something that they can get her on for kind of lying about, like, her? Like, I'm like, technically, bitch, you wasn't exhausted. You was just trying to get you to your dick appointment.
Well, because you can't tell nobody if they were.
Like, you were perjury. Like, was it? I feel like,
but she was having a 16-minute conversation with her ex partner.
No,
that's a boo now.
Right. So no, he's married. That's what I'm saying.
I heard he was married, but she was having a 16-minute conversation with him on the way up to the... So
what happened after she went in the apartment and she shot Botham, she called... There was a series of and see, the thing is, during the trial, they had to ask the jury to leave because prosecution had insinuated that she called the police union. She did call the police union. She definitely did call the police union because they showed up and they had them turn the cameras off inside of the car while she was in there, which is favoritism that they showed towards her. But she then called the boyfriend and was like, I fucked up. I need you to come here now. And he was like, nah. And so he didn't show up. And she calls 911 while she's on the phone with 911. They said she's texting him while she's on the phone with 911. And then you're not even worried about him. Stay with me, buddy.
That's my thing is failing to render aid. Can failing to render aid be considered murder? Because that's the only thing.
So it can add.
That's kind of like what happened on Power.
How about I just thought about this shit, but I don't want to be petty and bring up like fake shit.
But I'm serious. That's really kind of like what happened. Would that be considered
He didn't
murder?
fail, but we don't even know what happened because Proctor dead now, and he did fail to render aid. But so that would just
consider murder.
No, it's not murder. She killed herself when she overdosed. But the thing is, like the judge can ask them to look at that to add additional time to her sentence during sentencing.
Oh, to get the max.
Right. You can add time to the sentence.
We can put that to take that into consideration. You were still trying. Looked like she was trying to get validation of some type of comforting while she just killed this man from the dude. And the dude like, I'm not touching that. And I'm married. But and I can't have my wife wonder why I'm up here.
So here's the thing about him. Back in 2007, her partner Martin Rivera, he was involved in a shooting at a 7-Eleven off of Jim Miller. 20-year-old male. He steals a candy bar from a convenience store. He walks out of the convenience store. He's gone by the time Officer Rivera gets there. He's like, hey, he talks to the store clerk. They're like, he's got to be around here somewhere. He took off on foot. He goes looking for him over a fucking candy bar.
And doesn't he shoot him?
He finds him. And the boy goes into his pocket for what is a cell phone. And of course, we know when you go for your cell phone, he fires 4 shots.
Cell phone skills.
He fires 4 shots, and I do believe that he ends up killing him. So he's
has a good person to have on you.
Right. So but he didn't get indicted on it.
But that's why he like shit. I ain't staying far away.
Yeah, that's why he said
he like, nah. He
right.
Like you on your own.
And
like I don't even know.
And this was back in 2007. So I just feel like when it comes down to like police culture, like they get away with too much.
So do you think that they are trying Amber Guyger in this case as a police officer or as a...
No, she's definitely being tried as a police officer. So to that point, they have had so the police officer who showed up to the scene prior to the ambulance, he's a black police officer. I can't even think of his name. So when he came in, they actually showed the body cam footage today of the trial. I mean, of when the police showed up on the scene. So when they asked him, when you showed up, was she rendering aid? No, she was not. He had to start giving chest compression.
Well, actually, his partner did, and he took over.
Right, and he took over. So between him and his partner, they were the two who had to render aid because they said that he had a faint pulse at the time. Okay, so while they're doing this, when the EMS shows up, then they take over. And so they asked him. They said, do you feel like as a police officer, the expectation should you render aid? And he said yes. And I feel like that was the most damning part because it goes against the reasonable officer standard because that's the precedence that's always set in these cases is they get off because did you react as a reasonable officer would, as any other police officer would. Like it, and that's just having to do with. And that has to do with police culture in general. Like
things you were trained on.
Right. And so, did you act as a reasonable officer? No, she didn't. She didn't even try to save him.
But I want to say in 2000, it was either 2005, police, technically, constitutionally, they're only required to serve, not protect. And that was based off of the Supreme Court.
Right, but they give police officers like a lot of.
I mean, they're gonna give them a lot of leeway.
Well, it's all local. Like they base everything based off of local policies, and each that's why DPD is not as bad as if you go to like Ferguson or somewhere. Their police departments are a lot worse than if you come to Dallas. I would rather get pulled over in Dallas, Texas, than get
I feel like they don't like paperwork in Dallas. They like, go on about your business.
I know we're 600 officers short, but I promise you, I've been living here my whole life, And every time I've gotten pulled over, it ain't been a pleasant experience, but it ain't been horrible.
I'm like, I got pulled over last week.
I got pulled over.
And my shit wasn't little shit like
I got pulled over
a little warrant and everything.
I got
he
pulled
let
over
me go on
in
about my
Denton,
business.
Texas. I got pulled over in Denton, Texas, 45 minutes north of Dallas, and I felt like I wasn't gonna make it home. I just didn't feel like I was uncomfortable the whole time, and the police officer was uncomfortable, and it's like I just feel like with Dallas, it's more of a sense of community when it comes to the police. Like they chilling, like, and if it's close to them getting ready to get off, they ain't really trying to do their paperwork. Like, man, pay your ticket and get the hell out of here.
When it was hot, they was giving folks breaks. They wasn't trying to get out that car. They like, it was 102. Just
right.
Shit, just don't hurt nobody. He like, okay, sorry.
And so for this to happen in Dallas, like it just really blew my mind. And not to say that, just in general that police culture isn't bad, but I just thought it was better here. And we've had other incidents, of course, with DPD. But this was like, nobody asked you to come here to kill nobody. Who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like, oh, and they had his neighbor come and testify who stayed next door. He didn't even meet him until that day. So the person that worked in the office came up, knocked on both their doors, and was like, "Hey, we got a noise complaint. 2:00 in the afternoon." But both of them just so happened to be smoking weed at the same time. So they was like, "Oh, they just fuck with us because we smoking weed, and they can smell it, trying to see where it's coming from."
That's why we couldn't decide who.
Bottom Jean was smoking weed and singing in the choir. Baby.
But that was
ain't nothing wrong. Like first of all, healing.
They were both. That was the time that that's when.
But with them upscale apartments, though, it is hard. Like you don't know where it's coming from because it's like a regular hallway. Like everyone's house smells like weed on the way.
So the prosecutor tried to. Well, he asked the officer about did he smell anything in the house when he came in. Because I think he was trying to say that this should have been a signal that this wasn't your house.
Did you smell the weed?
If you smell the weed,
you
don't
be
smoke
weed.
But then the defense attorney came on and he asked, "Have you been to these apartments before? And what have you smelled in the hallway?" And he was like, "I smelled marijuana before." Yeah. So it was like there wasn't. But I think another thing that nailed it in the is like when he went back and he was showing all the footage from the body cam from the
and the room was illuminated. When he walked in, because the TV was on, the laptop was on, you could see.
And then also, he was sitting on the couch with the computer in front of him. And I think that since they didn't go and search her apartment, so we don't really have any visual evidence of what her apartment looks like,
right.
That they were even saying that if you were an officer before shooting somebody, if you had an opportunity, or if you had an opportunity to like move yourself out of the position of being, fired at, or your life is in danger, she could have just stepped back.
That should have been your first recourse.
That should have been your first option for the safety of the person. That's if you're an officer, you're thinking about the safety of the person that's in the apartment. Before you just shoot and kill
even your own safety, you by yourself. Shit, I'm like, I'm gonna call for backup. Be over there.
Yeah, she had a way to just like back up and like turn around the corner.
But
like,
there's always an option. Like there's always an option. And the thing is that most police officers operate out of fear. It turns into
which is why you shouldn't be a police officer.
I just want to go home, and it turns into me against you. And then and at the end of the day, it ain't no type of group of vigilante niggas out here lynching cops. It's not happening. If anything, it's gonna be a white dude that y'all done gave all this grace to, who got a pistol, and you trying to talk him down. Like, there are not black people out here wilding on police like that. So I mean,
we know we going to jail forever.
Exactly. Like we know if we just breathe wrong, it's like, well, here comes this
forever, ever. Like, and you could be a black cop, and you still know you're going to jail.
You can trip a police officer. You going to jail.
Here come that second car, bitch. That's it.
Did you mean mug him? You like,
but.
You gave me resting bitch face. Like,
but the police have been trained to fear black skin, and I say police because there are also black police officers who react the same damn way.
I feel like they be trying to prove point. Black in the dark.
Yeah, she saw the room was illuminated. She saw a big black.
But she wants to say it was dark. You feel like she knew that he was black.
Yes,
I do too.
That black man.
That
black man is shaped like no white man. He is shaped like no Mexican. That is the brother.
And I feel like
you can't mistake
she
him
said
for
like
else.
the right things, like why she was like the 911 call. It's like, okay, say
it 22 times.
Yeah, let me just keep repeating.
Stay with
shit.
me, buddy.
No different than them cops. I was in fear of my life.
Right.
And then going back to she's a black man. You know they don't typically give a fuck.
And she's 5'3".
she just got the wrong black man that day.
But you can't be a damsel in distress and be a fucking cop at the same time. Like, you in full uniform. Like, and the thing is when if you once you become a cop, you are a cop when you on duty. You are a cop when you're off duty. Like, you don't get to play this damsel in distress. Like, you don't get to do that. And so, but the neighbor that they had on there, the one who met him that day, he ended up breaking down crying because he was like, I just met him that day. He said, but I always used to hear him. He said, I used to hear him singing gospel music every morning. I would hear him like when I would go outside. And so he started crying. And I was like, no. So I got super sad about that, but
I'm glad I didn't watch this.
She is going to take the stand because the evidence.
What is she gonna say?
But the evidence against her is so damning. She doesn't have a choice.
But well, I had this dick appointment.
Because if she first of all, her lawyer is.
Oh, I hate the way he talk. He sound like he don't even know what he about to ask.
He's all over the place. I'm like, did you rehearse this?
He don't know what he about to ask.
Maybe she just like, in theory, somebody gave her the worst lawyer ever.
I almost felt bad for her because I'm like, damn, this is what the union gave you. These niggas, they want you to
like they like you going to jail, B. Like just notice you getting 4 counts of murder. Like
they did not try to help you at all.
6'9" in the background, and she
right. After they found out she was texting her boo, talking about we still be up
like
tonight.
Like, bitch, we can't help you.
So wait a minute. So my question is after the situation, she still was texting a nigga like we still gonna fuck later.
No.
Oh, okay, I'm suspecting. I'm like, wait, what?
I thought she was still talking about they still meeting up.
No.
No, remember she said I think it was she wanted him to come there, and he like I definitely.
No, she told him to after the incident. She said I fucked up. I need you to come here now, and he was like.
He like, you want
and I don't blame him. I've been a cop for 16 years. I barely got away with shoes. You think, bitch.
And my wife laying right here in the bed.
Fuck, I'm gonna tell my wife. He like,
of course.
Now the nigga don't know and shit.
But he didn't have his ring on. I was like, well, I know his wife is hella disappointed. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, most of the time, I feel like women know when their husband cheating on them, but they don't care as long as don't nobody know.
Exactly.
But
everybody know. Now you gotta get divorced. Like, you like, now we gotta get divorced because everybody
now got to leave you. Now the kids finna be sad because your ass got to go. You right here.
But Sasha said, I'm a hit. He was like, I'm a hit.
But so, but she is going to be required to take the stand. And she has to. Like, all the evidence against her. I mean, this is like, you could not have. You have 5 African Americans. You have 5 Latino or Asians. You have 2 white people on the jury. You got Judge Don't Fuck With Me, Tammy Kemp,
Daryl Washington.
And you know she taking that shit serious.
Listen,
she's for serious.
Sis came out the gate. Sis came out the gate snatching laptops, snatching phones.
She said, I'm asking you, why did you have a laptop?
Right.
And
you be in here more than anybody.
And she said, are you an attorney? I got the video. I thought that I could.
How about Stan Happy dying though? He just said that old girl just asked.
She took somebody's
no. He's like, I'm a side nigga. You asking for main nigga shit. No, baby. No.
She asked, is she an attorney? And then
she snatched somebody's phone today.
She snatched another phone today?
Yeah, she snatched a phone today.
I feel like they being disrespectful.
Then you gotta stay till your phone.
And Judge Crusoe.
But how you gonna say let the people in and then simultaneously not let the people in?
She did say that. She was like, this is a people's court. Let the people in.
Right. So that I'm gonna need access to my phone and
my laptop? You can't do that. Not during the trial because the only cameras that are allowed in there are the two the WFAA and NBC DFW. Those are the only people who are allowed to record.
You screen record the NBC DFW. They cut the volume out. I thought I had some good clips for the show, and it ain't nothing but silent.
Maybe you ain't screen recording right.
I screen.
Nah, I don't know. Kid. Like we gonna double bet.
Kristen said,
I'm gonna test out your theory.
If they don't secure
listen, and that is definitely my concern as well. Is that if this does not go in the way that we feel like, because I feel like it's a setup. Like we coming in for the layup. That's all we need. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a good jury, you got a black judge, a black bailiff. Like I feel like
you got. So you like so basically gonna burn this motherfucker down.
I mean, like
I was asking,
you got everything positioned, like all the evidence against her. But they did
Jen, she's our friend on 30-some podcasts. She meets me at Trumpo. She's an older white lady, and I asked her about having a black judge and all the black jurors. And I feel like whenever they put us in that position,
Like sometimes we feel like we don't want to do what's expected. We kind of want to, you know,
sometimes we be harder on each other than anybody. So it's like you gonna so just because of that,
no,
like,
we just because we black,
you feel a certain pressure.
We don't want to be the person to convict them to the fullest extent because it's like, oh, y'all just did what black people, you know what I'm saying?
And I feel
just some
like
racist
that,
stuff.
But the thing is, like, when it comes down to these jury trials, it has to be unanimous.
It has to be 12.
It has to be all 12. Like or it will be declared as a mistrial, and then they have to go back. It'll be a hung jury, and then they have to go back and go through the process
and do it again. So
because
she didn't do the
jury.
one, like, didn't OJ do the one, like, if you get convicted or if you don't get convicted, like, you can't try it again?
No, you cannot be tried for murder twice. It's double jeopardy.
Yeah, but you can do a civil suit.
Right. So
civil suit ain't gonna get her no time.
It's gonna get her some money.
Oh, baby, that civil suit. Listen,
you was cool with money earlier.
Lee Merritt is coming in with civil suit behind this one. So just stay tuned for the money, the payout.
I know there's gonna be money because I feel like with them not
the civil suit is gonna be crazy.
With them not going to search her apartment and stuff like that. I feel like that's already
the civil suit is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be bananas. But the thing, like,
but I want her to be in jail. I think she needs to spend some time.
I think she is going to spend. I feel like this case is going to set precedent when it comes to police officers getting time in jail because it's so egregious. Like, she didn't even fucking try. Like, oh, you went to the wrong house. You was having sex with your partner. You was sending him pictures of your coochie. You walked into it.
But then I feel like the irony would be that it would be a woman.
You acted like it wasn't yours. You shot and killed somebody. You didn't render aid. Like, you called your boyfriend after. You didn't. You called the police union.
I'm gonna call my man too.
All this shit was about you. Everything was about you. The whole thing was about you. Like, even when they said she was driving through the parking garage, one of the neighbors said he's like she was flying through the parking garage driving fast as hell. And then she like backed in.
He like, and that bitch don't follow the speed limit.
She hurrying up to get to the
She trying to get to a dick appointment.
So
he got a dick appointment.
I just feel like
I love the chance to use that.
And the prosecution came so hard with their opening statements. Like, it was wonderful.
Man is gone. His life is over.
So this is
his family is hurting.
Who you talking about? Her partner?
So then what I was going to say, though, in general, though, if they use this case to kind of set the precedent or moving forward, I think there's going to be backlash on the fact that there's been so many white men that have done so many things and have not gotten any time. That then the one opportunity, one time it's a woman. Whether she's a white woman or a woman. So
because we just had Jordan Edwards' case. We just had Jordan Edwards' case.
How many years did he get?
We got a conviction.
I know we got a conviction. Do you remember how many?
I'm not sure how many years he got.
Was it less than 5?
Lisa talking about she was about to take a whole bag. That's why she was rushing in trying to hit the hot spots.
So what do you think?
But I feel
how much would you? Okay, let me not ask you that. What do you think they're going to give her as far as time?
I think like 5 years.
I think that she would have gotten 5 years in parole had she tried to help him, but she didn't try to help him. She didn't give a shit about
She helped herself.
She helped, like, all she was
just more around.
She said, I'm going to lose my job. Like, these are things she was saying out of her mouth while she could have been given CPR. And you didn't know if it was like I'm not finna give CPR to this dying nigga. You might bleed him. Like, you don't know what the reason
had
was.
He had lived, shit, we might have been having a different kind of
Right,
conversation.
and it would have been completely different had he had lived because one, you wouldn't be on trial for murder. Like, it would be a completely different situation.
Maybe
it would you would have just had to settle out of court. You would have got fired. He would have got a check. That would have been it.
She would have been suspended with pay.
Right. We wouldn't have heard nothing else about it. But the fact that you shot the wrong nigga. You didn't shoot the dude who had a misdemeanor and a traffic ticket. You shot a model fucking citizen. You shot a model citizen. Nobody has a bad thing to say about him. Nobody. The college, the dean of the college said, "Let us know what we can do to help." The dean. So you that's what it boiled down to. Had he had any type of character issues, then this would be a different kind of case. But he was a model citizen, and so now we're talking about. So now penance must be paid, and so I feel like she's probably going to get maybe 8 to 10. Do half. Sprinkle a little bit of parole in there. But I feel like even if she doesn't, her life is over. That people feel like she'll be able to move.
She's probably gonna get community service.
Girl, you know them white folks, they always love investing into tragic ass white folks.
But you don't have to serve half of that, right?
Yeah.
For like a year and a day.
So then she should at least get 20.
But I feel like white people do help other white people. So
I feel like she should get more than
she should. But I'm saying like
more.
But I feel like Roy Martin was a fucking skinhead. Like, and they have pictures of her with her white power symbols.
Oh, she got something too.
Do you see they have the pictures with her throwing up the white power symbols?
That wasn't me. Lisa sent that.
No. It was, but all this surfaced like after.
Oh
yeah. But I don't know. I feel like she should get 99 years. She should. But I feel like if we're going to be reasonable,
I mean, with her badass lawyer, she may get 99 years.
Oh, he is fucking horrible. I literally almost feel bad for her.
Like, please, keep him.
You couldn't
let him defend everybody.
You couldn't pay nobody to help you, but I feel like she's probably gonna get like 20.
They be like, I didn't have a competent lawyer.
Yeah,
and then try to read.
Well, I mean, Miss Dick appointment wasn't very competent, so I don't know. And then the fact that your dick appointments with a married man, there's so many things now that have just basically just ruined your character.
Right.
Like,
and that trumps the little weed that he was smoking in his own fucking
house.
Like,
so you a whore?
But that was my thing. I'm like so
you a homeless?
Why are we talking about him smoking weed in his own fucking? He could have been smoking crack in that bitch for all he wanted to. She was not allowed to come in his house, no matter what he was doing.
No probable cause to go in there.
Right. At all.
They're like, well, we found smoking weed, so weed is a death sentence now?
But if you would have opened the door and there would have been a woman in there, would you have shot her too?
Was the prosecutor trying to say that it was because of...
Now, I mean, that was the whole, like, when the weed came out, it's like, oh, well, marijuana was found in his apartment. Okay, and what? Like,
everybody apparently in the whole complex is smoking weed. The officer said that.
I'm telling you, you can't really tell with those, the way they hallways is, like, everything just...
And they said that overall in the complex, they went and talked to everybody and said, how often do you go to the wrong door? And so it was actually, and it really does, like, all of the apartments, they say it all looks alike. Yeah. And so it was like 15% of the people that live there said that they have.
I have gone into those apartments and been scared though. Like, it's just like I had a key one time, and mind you, I had a key to someone else's place. I've been there a few times, but it was like, this is the one time I got the key. I'm like, I don't want to open the wrong door. So I really sat there and thought about it. I'm like,
which number? Me and Brisetti was talking about that. It's like a feeling that you get, though, when you walk up to something that's not yours. And you catch certain signals. Like, I know that everybody's probably walked up to a car that they thought was not theirs. But when you see a hat in the window in the back, you see something else, you know what I'm saying? Automatically, you be like, this ain't.
I've seen some weird shit where somebody actually got into somebody else's car and got back out.
So here's the horrible part about this. This shit happened at like 9:58. He had just got home at 9:38. They showed him pulling up, going through the parking garage at 9:38. They showed because when he stuck his key pop in, it was 9:38. So it's like 9:38. He goes into his apartment, and not even 20 minutes later, somebody busts in behind him and fucking kills him. Like, that's the crazy part, is that you ain't even got, like, he just took his pants off. He was in his boxes. He had just took his fucking pants off. And it's like, if that was a
just
woman,
getting comfortable.
If it was a woman, would you have shot her too? If it was a woman walking towards you, would you have fear for your life and shot yourself too? It should have been
some like, who are you? Put your hands up or something.
That's the thing. And so when they were asking all the witnesses, they said, did you hear anybody yelling any police commands like you hear like in the movies and stuff? No, nobody said anything. Hear anything. They're like, nah, all we heard was gunfire. So I feel like she's out of there. What we're gonna see, day 3 starts tomorrow. I hope they wrap this up by the end of the week. I am not trying to.
I hope so too, because we don't need Drag getting fired trying to watch every single day. Have you done any work? She like, no, but I'm gonna tell you about this case.
But I'll be watching, because I'm a little bit invested in this, because Lord knows I love my city. I tell y'all all the time, I love my city to death, and it's just super unfortunate that this has happened. And he wasn't even from here. Like, you come here to try to make a better life, and you end up getting shot by some slut who just got home from work. You know what I'm saying?
Home wrecker.
So it's a really unfortunate situation, but I do feel like that in some way justice should be served. It's going to be up to the jury. But I think it's looking good for now. But we'll keep y'all posted.
thank you guys for tuning in.
We finna go home. These
what
need
we
to go to bed.
next
I think they sober now, so I think it's safe to go home.
Time to go to sleep.
Look, I'm trying to check today. Somebody, what we talking about next week?
Yes.
Y'all stay tuned next week. We're gonna be discussing the domestic violence because it is.
We just
first.
from sad shit to sad shit with this show. So y'all ride with the depressing ass 30-something podcast.
But tell your sister who be getting beat up all the time to watch.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Damn. Like when you think about like that's like, maybe we should have a little fun.